Autograph Alley is now open for the K&N Pro Series East drivers. And there's a big line down there already. They are located behind the small grandstand area next to the novelty booth. Matt?
Now in the ride car, it's Ryan Cianci. So Bob Potter behind the wheel, and in the passenger seat, Ryan Cianci. So he will live the fast life for the first handful of laps as we get the show started.
Double greens are out, steps on the gas. Wesley Prucker moves to the front of the class as he leads him down into turn number 1. Side-by-side racing all the way back to the bottom of the field. But out in front, it's Prucker who runs like the dog that is out in front, and everybody is nipping at his heels.
Now remember, Wesley Prucker dominated the early laps a week ago, and he has a sizable lead over Al Wisialko. Showing some strength on the inside is Todd Doulard in the neighborhood. TC Light, Ted Kane, here comes Doulard. He is making a bold bid for second place.
There's no question about it. Doulard's confidence is up in the last 2 outings. He's been a contender at the front of the field. Bottom shot move off turn number 4, moves into second. The Marcotte Ford sponsored car will take over the runner-up spot. Meanwhile, here comes car number 2 for Joey Graff. He continues to make his presence known. Also coming to the front is David Arute, and keep your eyes on Daniel Wesson with car number 92. They called him Mr. Outside a few weeks ago, as he's got a long way to go to get to the front of this field.
Yeah, he won a 3-wide battle to get his first win of the season. Carlos Gray off to a strong start in car number 69. He is holding off David Arute. Graff got a little rambunctious as he nibbled away at the back bumper of the Ted Kane car. And Kane holding on, but here comes Graff to the inside, and Graff had some dynamite, but there was nowhere to use it.
Now Tony Membrino's back in the 12th spot. Usually he comes on very strong at about the halfway point. He goes around Joey Farino, who went back to a black paint scheme instead of the hot pink that he once had at the start of this season, painted on that race car. 5 cars, make it 6 cars. Check into a battle for the 4th on back positions. Kane is at the point. Here comes David Arute to the outside. Vinny Inglace gives him a smooch to the bumper. Graff holds on to the bottom. We've got 4 cars contending. Kane goes around, and David Arute gets tagged hard coming off turn number 4 as he was a victim of circumstances.
Now, Michael Waltrip at one point in time drove for McAnally Racing, along with guys like Brendan Gaughan, and the list goes on and on, Ron Hornaday and others. It's really pretty interesting to see his talent rise to the top. And down at Media Day during Speed Weeks in Daytona, I had the opportunity to talk with him a little bit. Very, very mature, beyond his years, and he's got all the right ingredients, of course, with his dad being a Sprint Cup Series driver as well, to make it to that next level. That number 16 car with Napa Blue on the side of it, they've got the know-how tonight, and I think they're going to be one that you've got to keep your eye on as well.
Well, let's get back to the junior stars of NASCAR. You've been listening to Joe Koss, keeping us abreast of what's happening on in the paddock area for the K&N Series. Autograph Alley is still open. Get those programs autographed or stop by for a free gift from any of your favorite drivers in the K&N Pro Series East tonight. Let's get ready to rumble off turn number 4. Back to the stripe they come. 5 laps into the record books of 20. Wesley Prucker up on the wheel, pulls away by inches. Doulard settles back in for second, side-by-side racing for third.
And that is Wisialko trying to stay with Carlos Gray. Look at the outlaw as he climbs into third. So the man with the biggest bounce to his step is Carlos Gray. And now he is almost going to surrender the spot to Wisialko. And moving in quickly is Daniel Wesson.
There's no question about it. Here comes Wisialko again. But Carlos Gray running stronger than we've seen him run in quite some time. He's up on the wheel. He's on to the podium if he can hold on. But here comes Mr. Outside, Daniel Wesson, another graduate from Monday Night Kart Racing, showing his muscle, making his presence known. High, wide, top side of the racetrack. And who's the tail that wags the dog there? It is Membrino, the winningest driver in the SK Light Division in 2016. He has been the guy to watch, and he is the guy that's moving to the front of this field.
And now here comes Wesson, trying to get underneath Carlos Gray. He got halfway there. Gray is holding on by his toenails. Carlos Gray has never finished on the podium before, and he was able to hold off a determined Daniel Wesson.
Wesson can reel him in, little cat and mouse game like a Tom and Jerry cartoon, but they continue to run nose to tail in single file. Meanwhile, we've got a yellow out on the racetrack. Caution flag comes out, and it is for a car that is spun behind the scoreboard. Familiar sights to us here, working with the K&N Series. Mike Stefanik was in the paddock, and he was the coach for a couple of the drivers there. Woody Pitkat went over for Tyler Dipple, and Joe Koss was talking earlier with some of those teams. We'll bring Joe back on in just a few moments, as Mike Stefanik knows this track better than most. He's a pretty good coach, and we haven't seen Michael around in a very long time. Joe, what do you have for us?
Yeah, well, it's been kind of interesting because all these teams come in, and you mentioned earlier that Eddie McDonald is one of the only drivers that has experience here at Stafford Speedway, and so a lot of the teams have been leaning on the experience of guys like Mike Stefanik and Woody Pitkat alike.
They certainly have. We're going back to green. We'll talk about that more. But right now, Wesley Prucker continues to be the driving force at the point. Meanwhile, Todd Doulard, his neighbor in town, is running in second, and Daniel Wesson is showing it was no fluke that he won in a near photo finish here at Stafford. Membrino is still stuck behind Carlos Gray. It's pick and choose time for Wesson, Matt.
And trying to vapor trail his way underneath our leader, Wesley Prucker. Here is Doulard. And Doulard getting a helping hand from Wesson, as Wesson with a forearm shiver to the back bumper of the Doulard car, and that springboards Todd Doulard into the lead with
Daniel Wesson used the chrome horn to his advantage, muscles his way to move into the second spot. Once he's there, bottom shot move. Watch this car come off the turn. Doulard on the outside, Daniel Wesson down low, side by side. They cling, they clang, they come off the turn, and through timing and scoring, Todd Doulard still held on to lead the lap.
And Doulard is not disappearing. Not disappearing.
Carlos Gray is in trouble. Spun in 1 and 2 to the bottom of the racetrack. And there is the yellow.
Comes out. Joey Farino, but also Jay Goff in one of the closest 3-wide finishes in Stafford history. So I think Wesson is still riding that wave.
I think you're right. His confidence is up, and we saw him take full advantage, came up on Prucker, give him a little bit of a tap to the bumper to make him know he's there. Then Doulard moved into formation into line, and then it was Daniel Wesson that gave him that little bit of a tap to say, let's go, and they did. Now they are evenly matched and side by side. Lights are off from Whelen Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 12 of 20 now complete. Doulard and Daniel Wesson. One's been to victory lane and one has dreamt about it, but it's Doulard with a little more giddy up until they get to the bottom of turn 1.
Now Wesson is capable of making a move on the outside, and Doulard hanging in as his right foot is like King Kong's. But look at Wesson as he skyrockets his way off turn number 4. Will he get the lead? Yes, he does.
Daniel Wesson pulls to the outside. Mr. Outside takes over the number 1 spot, but here comes Membrino. He's still there with Prucker. Now he's going to go to the outside of our second place car number 16, Doulard. Membrino can't get the job done. Off turn number 4, Doulard trying to keep the car down, but that pinches it and slows it down.
So Doulard hanging on to second, and here comes Membrino as he is holding off Prucker for the time being. Joey Farino is in the picture. Trouble for Gray as that car has swallowed some speed bumps. 5 to go. Wesson in command, and the best battle for 3rd and 4th between Prucker in 4th and Membrino in 3rd.
Membrino is looking a little bit less powerful as he continues to drop back further in his challenge to get around Doulard. Meanwhile, another car that we haven't talked much about is Joey Farino as he continues to work his magic. Now down underneath Parker, the early leader of the event. 16 of 20 laps are now complete. In car number 4, Fred Nees started 16th on the grid, and Nees has worked his way up into the top 6 positions. Back off turn 4, Daniel Wesson, the leader of the pack.
Boy, Fred Nees hasn't been here very often, but when he does, he has been very consistent in car number 4. At the top of the field is Daniel Wesson as he's leading by a mountain range over the 16 of Doulard. Membrino, he has won just about everything in sight this year, but he is going to have to need some luck in order to get by the combination of Wesson and Doulard.
There is less than 1 mile left in the competition here. Daniel Wesson is so far out in front, there is no challenge there. But for the man who sets in second, Doulard, he's in the comfort zone. Membrino is in the 3rd spot, but the white flag is out, and it doesn't look like anything will change among the top 3 positions.
It looks good for Wesson. So the Bullet, he will BB his way into the turn 3 for the final time. Here comes Wesson. It was a nail-biter the last time. This time it will be a cakewalk.
And it'll be Doulard to finish in second, Membrino to finish in the 3rd spot, Joey Farino for 4, Wesley Pucker to round out the top 5.
Man, the 92 car looked like it was sticking, man. Really running good tonight. Congratulations. You worked your magic, made it to the front, and you won.
Thank you. I was really grateful on that caution. I barely made it through. David Root was starting to come down, so I had to pinch it off, but that was all right. Then those last few restarts, they were amazing. It was a great race overall, and thanks to all the competitors racing me clean.
Now, I know, man, this 92 looks really nice. Who's some of your sponsors?
Monaco Ford, Smith's Auto Body, Sarek Fabrication, Trackside Motors, Ham's Welding, Dunleavy Truck and Trailer Repair, Wesson Motorsports, Waddell, Patriot Coatings, Competitive Edge Coatings, TA Engines especially, and Sullivan Landscaping.
There he is, folks. Daniel Wesson, one of the good guys, man. A good win for that number 92 team here for our SK Light main event as we get ready to talk to our 2nd place finisher, driver of that number 16 car, Todd Doulard. And Todd over here still talking to some fans. Crew members, here he comes. Todd Doulard had the 16 car really going good tonight. I'll tell you what, man, 16 up front, that car is quick, and you had a good run tonight, 2nd place. Congratulations.
Yeah, it would have been a lot better if we didn't have a bunch of problems in practice. We could have figured it out a little bit better, but I'm proud of my guys. They worked really hard the last couple of weeks to get her back to this way. And I'd like to thank Sarek Fabrication, Rad Auto Machine, Marcotte Ford, Cliff Nelson, Bruce Bacta, Ham's Welding, Copex Auto.
Todd, that number 16 car is always looking good. Good to see you back up front here, and a victory real soon for this young guy, Todd. Good run in that 16. Let's talk to our 3rd place finisher, the number 44 car. It's Hollywood, Tony Membrino. Good run. I know 3rd's not your favorite, but not a bad run.
Rolling it in on the trailer one piece is my favorite, especially when we got a race at Waterford tomorrow. Just I didn't have the speed today. We, the K&N series, the rubber exchange kind of changed the way our car handled, and we were just trying to chase it, and I don't think we hit it on all 8 today, but that's no big deal. We'll go back, we'll hit the drawing board and see what we could do to improve moving forward. Just gotta congratulate the 92 and the 16 cars on strong runs. I gotta thank my dad, Ed Flemke, everyone at the TMR team, Raceworks Chassis, TA Engines, Adam Manufacturing of New England, CWPM, Manili's Banquet Catering, Dunleavy Truck and Trailer Repair, FK Rod Ends, Goodrich, Minuteman Press. Just everyone that helps out on this car, it means a lot. And like I said, 3rd's not my favorite, but we'll take it.
Hey, a win last Friday night, 3rd place tonight. Not bad for Tony Membrino Jr., guys, and another great SK Light main event. Back to the tower.